Still many questions unanswered in this high-profile murder case. This is where FSU law professor Dan Markell taught class and was really loved by his students. Now, the dean tells us he is relieved there's been an arrest in this case, but it appears this investigation isn't over yet. The arrest affidavit is sealed by the request of a legal advisor at the Tallahassee Police Department. So right now, not much is known about how or what evidence led to Sigfredo Garcia's arrest. He was taken into custody in Hallandale Beach Wednesday. Police say Markell was shot in the head in his garage on Trescott Drive on July 18, 2014, and later died at the hospital.
I would say that our investigators began working this case immediately. From our patrol officers who arrived on scene that day, to the neighborhood canvases, to the countless hours that our officers put into this, we would not be here today without them.
Police set up a hotline. Hundreds of leads came in, being assigned to an investigator and vetted. Even a $100,000 reward being offered. They wouldn't say if someone received the money. A neighbor who's an attorney and was a friend of Markell says the arrest brings partial relief.
You know, there is starting to be a semblance of normalcy, but this, of course, relives everything that occurred 2 years ago, including Professor Markell's tragic death.
We also spoke to the man who currently lives at the home where Markell was shot.
Of course, we're happy to hear that there may be some resolution for the families that were involved. It's tragic, so any kind of violence like that, the perpetrators, providing this gentleman is guilty of it, should be brought to justice.
Chief Michael DeLeo says getting Garcia behind bars is a start to the healing process.
Losing a family member is a horror none of us should have to endure. Our hearts and prayers are with the Markell family as they continue to grieve for their loss. My only hope is that today's information will offer some solace to the family and in some ways help them to heal.
Now, police have not said if any more arrests would be made or have revealed a motive yet. Live in Tallahassee, Jade, WTXL, ABC 27, dedicated to you. Hospital where 57-year-old Barbara Dawson collapsed and died. Calhoun Liberty Hospital is a small one in Bluntstown with 25 beds and 1 doctor per shift. They don't do surgeries, but they are equipped to stabilize patients with serious conditions and send them to hospitals in Tallahassee, Dothan, and Panama City. They also have security cameras in place. However, when they went to get the footage from that morning, they realized the system had failed. They're working to upgrade it for the future. In any given 12-hour shift, the Calhoun Liberty Hospital is busy, seeing close to 60 patients. On December 21st, it was a steady morning. 57-year-old Barbara Dawson was here in the ER after being rushed by ambulance because of abdominal pain. She was treated and discharged by hospital staff but refused to leave. This is dashcam video released by the Bluntstown Police Department. Police say she was being disruptive, so staff called them over. Under HIPAA privacy laws, the hospital says they are not allowed to talk about her treatment or her condition.
I do know that she was treated prior to her leaving, and then, of course, whenever she collapsed, she was brought back in.
But when one officer got there, he says he tried to talk her into leaving, but she wouldn't. And that's when they say she got even more agitated. He then arrested her for disorderly conduct and trespassing. Then the oxygen tank she was using was removed.
Let's take this out.
You can't take that out.
I can.
No, you can't.
Dawson collapsed outside the hospital while in handcuffs. She was readmitted into the hospital and died from a blood clot.
We think what they did was put criminality over health care. We think what they did here was compromise public safety by failing to give her the medical attention that she deserved and that she needed.
The Bluntstown police chief says his officer asked medical professionals to keep checking her health status, even though he says she was checked by medical professionals after she collapsed. A camera set up to record outside of the emergency room did not capture any of what happened outside because the server which stores the video crashed, a problem the hospital is not running away from.
If for nothing else, for the perception, everybody could see what was going on. We want to be transparent, absolutely clear with anything that goes on here, and also for the safety of our staff.
Ruth Attaway is the CEO of the hospital. She's been there for about 3 months. Attaway tells us 13 cameras were saving all the footage to the virtual server, but that server crashed on November 28th. All of this happening as the hospital was moving their files to electronic records. Since the records move took priority, they did not realize the cameras had stopped recording. Attaway says she knew upgrades needed to be made and 26 cameras were already in the works before the situation involving Dawson occurred. The cameras are now being installed along with a new server.
Well, we felt like we needed better coverage, inside and out. And so we are making sure that we have full coverage of the whole hospital. They're top of the line. The other ones were very old, and I guess they were good for what we had them for, but it was good to update.
They should test that equipment. They should test the audit component of the equipment to make sure that what they are saying is true. Because obviously there's a serious concern when you have a tape that would mean so much would not be working in a hospital for 2.5 weeks and nobody would notice it. I mean, who's doing security here?
Hospital officials say there are now safeguards in place that will detect any malfunction, and the live feed will be available to hospital administrators 24/7, even on their cell phones. And if you have a story idea for The Insider, send us an email to abc27news@wtxl.tv. Attention, The Insiders. Jade Balexa, WTXL ABC 27, dedicated to you. More than 13,800 air traffic controllers are employed by the Federal Aviation Administration, and the U.S. Department of Transportation says they plan to hire more than 6,300 in the next 5 years. It's an important job and in high demand. So how does one actually become an air traffic controller? One school in South Georgia is getting the next generation of air traffic controllers ready. Bags packed, ticket in hand, and ready for takeoff. But the pilots aren't the only ones getting you to your destination. Each airport houses air traffic controllers. They're behind the scenes directing the airplanes.
You have a lot of fun with it. If you want to be a controller, you want to be a controller.
Here in Valdosta, the next generation of air traffic controllers are getting their training.
Ground, runway 3, taxi via Gulf, November.
It's not your average classroom. Right now, it's a busy airport in San Antonio.
Jetlink 3140, tower runway 3, position hold.
These students at Advanced ATC at Wiregrass, Georgia Technical College are learning how to manage lifelike situations under the instruction of an air traffic controller with decades of experience.
Anything that they can encounter, they have already been trained and taught to do. So we're giving them the foundation to where they can work singles, parallels, and crossing configuration at the same time.
He tests students' skills at other airports as well, but before enrolling into the program, there are some requirements to see if you're cut out for the job, like trying out the simulator. I did a test run. Thunder 01, report initial. American 1489, cleared to land. Under the year-long program, there's about 9 months of live air traffic controlling. The program intense, but the goal is to earn what's called a Control Tower Operator Certificate with facility rating by the FAA. Abigail Diaz is now waiting to be hired on by the FAA. For Diaz, this is her passion.
I came here and I visited because I was interested and I just fell in love with it. It's just something where you get an adrenaline rush working traffic. You leave the tower satisfied if you had a good shift.
Monica Cunningham with Advanced ATC says the school was established in 2008 to give the FAA an alternative for hiring.
Over the next few years, the FAA is going to need to hire thousands of controllers just because air traffic controllers have to retire by the age of 56 with the FAA, and there's going to be a very large retirement boom happening very soon. So the FAA is going to be looking to hire several controllers to fill that need within the next few years.
Advanced ATC says you can potentially start out at $43,000 a year and with experience earn up to $163,000. And if you have a story idea for The Insider, send us an email at abc27news@wtxl.tv. Attention insiders, Jade Balexa, WTXL ABC 27, dedicated to you.